Hey you guys, it's Ginger on Wheels here again. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Today we're going to be range testing this Ninebot Max G2 in sport mode. We're just going to floor it for as long as we can, and we're going to see how many miles this scooter gets on one full charge. This electric scooter, it's the Ninebot Max G2. It has got the ride-along technology, which allegedly uses some sort of AI or machine learning to learn how I'm riding and gives you more range, allegedly. So those of you old subscribers to the channel know that I range tested the original Ninebot Max pretty thoroughly in eco, drive, and sport mode. And in sport mode, we got about 16 miles of range. But this Segway Ninebot Max G2 has the ride-along technology, so I'm expecting more range than that. We'll see how this one stacks up. It has the same size battery, same voltage. The only difference in the drivetrain between this scooter is that this one has a 450 watt motor versus 350 on the original Ninebot. It's also worth noting that this scooter weighs a little bit more. This scooter I think is 56 pounds and the original Ninebot was around 40, I believe. So with the addition of the wider, taller bars, the front and rear suspension, and the slightly bigger motor, we did add some weight with this generation of Ninebot. As I was going downhill there, I could tell that this scooter is definitely electronically limited to 20 miles per hour, which is interesting. In the app, when you're setting the max speed for sport mode, the dial, the slider only goes up to 20 miles per hour. And the top speed I'm seeing is 20 miles per hour, and I'm noticing electronic throttling or limiting around 20 miles per hour downhill. But when you look at the marketing material for this scooter, it says max speed up to 22 miles per hour. So I don't know where they're getting that spec from, but this one goes 20 miles per hour. We're at a full charge right now, nice level, no wind, full throttle, and you can see 20 miles per hour. And if I'm going downhill and the scooter wants to go faster than that, I can feel it being limited by the electronic brake back down to 20 miles per hour. I think it's a safety feature. So I've got the cruise control enabled, and cruise control on this scooter is freaking sweet. You've got two options. The first option, which you set in the app, is you can hold down the throttle for 5 seconds and it will automatically set the cruise control wherever you're holding the throttle to. The second option is that you can hold the turn signal indicator button for 3 seconds and it will turn on the cruise control. And that's something I've never seen on an electric scooter before. I've got that enabled right now, so let's go ahead and test it out. Is that a bird? Oh, weird. Anyway, all right, I'm turning around. We're gonna go on this nice long road. We're gonna test out this cruise control and see if it works. So this is a slight downhill, and like I said, we're still stuck at 20 miles per hour. I can feel the brake coming on. But anyway, I'm gonna hold the turn signal for 3 seconds and we'll see if the cruise control comes on. 1, 2, 3. Did it work? Oh yeah, we're locked in at 20 miles an hour. Now that is cool. That is a much more reasonable way to use the cruise control. Wow. Every scooter up till now has been, you have to hold the throttle in the exact same position for X amount of seconds to engage cruise control. But this one, you actually push a button. Thank you, Segway Ninebot. It's so hard to hold a scooter throttle in the exact same spot for X amount of seconds when you're moving. On any scooter, really. And sometimes you just want to turn the cruise control on, like when you're in a car, you just push the button. This is as close as you can get to cruise control in a car. Push a button, forget about it. Let's see if the cruise control works while we're accelerating. So I'm going to go down to 10. We're going to be accelerating up to 20. I'm going to hold the cruise control button now. Oh, look at that. It locks it on to whatever speed you were going when you're holding on to the 3 second mark. This is one of the best cruise controls on any scooter, period. That is so easy to use. Hey, VSET, Apollo, Varla, are you guys listening? Push button cruise control. That is where it's at. I love that. I've noticed the cruise control actually locks on much sooner than 3 seconds. It's more like 1.5 seconds. If you don't immediately let go of the turn signal button, then the cruise control will activate if you've got that mode on in the app. And don't worry, you're not going to confuse anyone. The turn signal on the scooter won't actually turn on unless you push and then immediately let go of the turn signal button. Okay, one other thing that's pretty important to this range test is the temperature outside right now. It's about 82 or 83 degrees outside right now. You can see I'm riding in a t-shirt, and as you know, we're riding in sport mode. So sport mode is going to generate a lot more heat than eco or drive mode, so I'm going to be watching for this scooter to overheat. I just checked in the app, and the scooter temperature according to the app right now, after flooring it around for a couple miles, is still 85 degrees Fahrenheit. I do not believe that at all. I think that's probably like the temperature read somewhere off of the motherboard or not inside the motor. But if you guys remember last time when we were testing the 48 volt Ninebot and we were trying to see if we could overheat it on the world's hottest day, we did overheat it, and the temperature in the app was still reading something like 100 degrees, or it was way lower than it should have been. So I have a feeling that's going to be the case with this scooter as well, just FYI. And now I'm rolling downhill right now. I'm going 13 miles an hour and I don't have my hand on the throttle, but it feels like I'm using the brakes, and that is because I have the power regen mode on strong. And unlike other scooters where the regen only kicks on when you're using the brakes, with this scooter the regen kicks on when you're not using the throttle. It's a lot like a Tesla. Anytime your finger is not holding the throttle, you're essentially holding the brake. You have to hold the little throttle dial here exactly where you want for the speed that you want, because if you let go of it, you're not just going to coast. On the old Ninebot Max, if you had the regen on strong mode and you went down a hill pulling the brakes, you could actually overheat the controller sometimes and you would melt the connectors, the phase wire connectors. So let's open up the app real quick. Now vehicle temperature is showing 34 degrees. It's still really cool. So I don't think you're gonna have the problem on this scooter where you're overheating when you're using the regen brakes. To overheat it, you gotta get up into like 60 degrees Celsius. All right, this is a very steep hill. I'm gonna stop from 20 miles per hour. I'm pulling the brakes as hard as they go right now. So that was probably like a 40-foot stopping distance. So if you're over like 150 pounds, this is not a great scooter for emergency stopping. Do not go faster than you need to or can safely go in any given area, because scooter does not have hydraulic brakes. It doesn't even have disc brakes. It just has one drum brake in the front and then a 450 watt regen brake in the rear. Now, while being my size, ow, I just got stuck by a sticker bush. Anyway, while being my size might be a slight disadvantage downhill, it is a big advantage on flat spots because I'm able to use the suspension a lot more than someone who's not my size. When I'm going over cracks in the ground or grates or potholes and stuff like that, just little imperfections in the pavement, I can barely feel them anymore. Compared to the original Ninebot, has no suspension. Can you believe we were riding that around for so long? Zero suspension. Let me just turn on the cruise control here on this nice long road. Beep. That was maybe 2 seconds and then the cruise control turns on. That is so nice. So one cool thing about this scooter is that it has a built-in inverter for the charger. It switches from AC to DC power inside the scooter instead of having a big brick for a charger that does it outside the scooter. So you just have to bring one tiny cable with you if you want to plug this thing in on the go, and it has a built-in 3-amp charger. So this park right here, for example, has outlets all over, and if you want to just bring that one little cable with you, you can plug in and charge your scooter while you hang out, rehydrate, eat some snacks, and keep going. You don't have to have a backpack and haul around like a 5-pound charger. The charger for my electric unicycle is massive and takes up pretty much the whole backpack and makes my neck hurt sometimes. But for this, it's just one little cable. Very nice, pretty convenient. I would venture to say you could even fit that cable in your pocket if you rubber banded it up. Big sign here just says no firework. Yes, sir, no firework. One thing I'm very curious about with this scooter is how low will the battery go before it stops pushing this 20 mile per hour top speed. So I think we're around like 60% battery now, and we're still pushing 20 miles per hour. I kind of like having the regen brake on strong. I don't ever have to use the actual handbrake. I can just modulate my speed using the throttle only. To slow down, you just move the trigger up. To speed up, you push it down. We're gonna check out the velodrome. That's gonna be our halfway point on this range test, I think. The velodrome is a racetrack for fixed gear bikes, and the walls, the turns of the track are slanted at like 15-degree angles. So you get some G-forces when you go around it really fast. It's so fun to do on unicycles and high-speed scooters. See how the corners are slanted like that? We'll come back here on a faster scooter, maybe the Kukirin G3 Pro, and we'll do some laps around the velodrome. It's been a while since I've done that on the channel. Here's an example though, outlet for charging. If you bring your little charging cable for your Segway, you can just pop it right into your scooter and charge on the go. I personally just don't understand how this thing goes like 15% faster than the other scooter, has a bigger motor, but the same size battery. I just don't understand how they're expecting this thing to have more or even the same range. This ride-along technology, I really want to know more about it. What exactly is it? Does it work? I guess we'll find out by the end of this video. I don't know if you guys know, but the amount of power required to go from like 16 or 17 miles an hour up to 20 miles per hour, it's probably 20 or 30% more power for just a few more miles per hour. the faster you go, the more power you use at an exponential rate. This thing does get up to 20 miles per hour pretty quickly. In another video, I think I'm gonna have to bust out the Draggy and see exactly how fast this thing goes from 0 to 20. So we are down around 50% battery and we still have our 20 mile per hour top speed for the record. I'm pretty sure this firmware is gonna maintain 20 miles per hour down to 20% battery. Pretty cool, we can use our turn signals in an official intersection. Boop, boop. I love it. I am genuinely curious, how many miles are we gonna get? We've got 3 bars left. We're still holding 20 miles per hour. And we've been going for like 10 miles. I'm about halfway done with the range test now, I would imagine. And I gotta say, the fatigue or lack thereof from the front and rear suspension might be worth the $200 extra in just the comfort alone. If you're debating between the Ninebot Max or the G2, honestly, I think the $200 is justified just from the lack of fatigue from the suspension alone. The Ninebot Max, you gotta kind of be paying attention and popping over cracks and avoiding big bumps and stuff, but this one, you just have to pay attention a little less. And when you do hit a crack or a bump, it doesn't bother you nearly as much because you have suspension. This is so nice, perfect temperature right now, no people, no bugs. I am thoroughly enjoying myself.
2 minutes later.
We just overheated the scooter. It just says hi in red letters. Can you guys see that? Overheated the scooter on the big hill up back to the house. So this scooter is more powerful and goes faster, but it overheats. At least it's got overheat protection, but I was not able to overheat the stock Ninebot Max. This new Ninebot Max G2 runs at hotter temperatures. So if it's warm out, or if you're above like 180 pounds, maybe 170, I would beware of the temperatures. Let's see what the app says right now. Vehicle temperature 43 degrees and it's overheating, but the scooter won't go anymore. The overheat protection has engaged. Walking up the hill, this is not what you want to do with an electric scooter. I let it cool for 3 or 4 minutes and it went for like another 30 seconds and then shut down from high temperature again. So I think I need to turn this off and take like a 20-minute break to get up this hill. Extra lane. Let's see how hot this feels. Ooh, I can feel that is very hot motor. Dang, these motors get so hot. Battery compartment feels a bit warm too. Yeah, well, it's 80-ish degrees outside. I'm 230 pounds. We're ripping around for maybe 40 minutes at full speed and the scooter's overheating now. I think we are technically above the max rider weight limit. I think it's 220 pounds for this scooter, but I no longer recommend this scooter for people over 200 pounds, period. If you weigh over 200 pounds, do not buy this scooter until some new firmware or like a cooling hack has come out. It's Angry Birds. So we have 39% battery left. We have gone 13.6 miles. We did overheat up that big hill. It's a big time bummer. So we're still gonna push through with this range test and see how many miles it will get on a full charge. Obviously, the final numbers for this video, they're gonna be very conservative because I am so big that I'm literally overheating the scooter. So if you're anything less than me, you're gonna get more range than I do at the end of this video. You guys hear that? I'm getting weird triple beeps. Not sure what that is. Maybe it's a low battery warning. I am down to around 20% battery, but we're at 15.5 miles, so I don't know. I think we're actually gonna get more miles than the original Ninebot at a faster speed with the same size battery and a bigger motor. I don't get it either, but the ridey long thing does actually work for what it's worth. That's pretty incredible. So we're definitely on our last legs here. The scooter is in its crutch mode. It's going about 11 miles an hour top speed. We've got a red bar on the display. It's still doing the triple beeps, and there is significantly less power off the line. This is basically your limp mode. Get home as fast as you can or to an outlet because the scooter is gonna run out soon. This is the most boring part of the range test by far, but we do have to go through this as well. Probably gonna be another mile or two just cruising around at 10 miles an hour. But at least the weather's still nice and there's nobody out right now. Oh, also in the limp mode, cruise control has stopped working. That's definitely worth mentioning. They don't want you just zoning out and then your battery dies. 2% battery remaining. Scooter's beeping like crazy. It's gonna die any second now, I just know it. This is what the beeps sound like now. Chris Isaacson, that's the owner of My Max Mods, just messaged me. As the scooter dies, right there, we're calling it. Oh, yep, rolling backwards. Okay, scooter's dead. That sure is annoying, that beeping. The display didn't die, but the motor did. Okay, you guys, that's gonna sum up the range test on the Ninebot Max G2. Let's check out the route information from the Relive app now. And as you can see, this scooter, the Ninebot Max G2, got 10% more range than the Ninebot Max original. It also has a 3 mph higher top speed. It has taller, wider handlebars with turn signals, and my favorite part, the front and rear suspension. I feel like I could go out and have a party right now. I'm not fatigued at all. I don't feel like I normally do after range tests where I just need like a shower and a hot meal. So I recommend this thing for hardcore commuters. You're not gonna be all tired at work when you get there. It's definitely worth the extra 200 bucks over the original Ninebot Max, assuming that you're not over 190 pounds. If you're a heavier guy like me, you run the risk of overheating this thing if you're riding up a lot of hills on hot days. So keep your eyes peeled for a firmware update. There might be one to fix that problem, but until then, put that scooter on hold if you're a bigger guy, but for lighter riders, I definitely do consider this thing for hardcore commuters. All right, that's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you've got questions, put them down below, and stay tuned because the next video we're gonna be riding the Talaria XXX. It's like a really fast 50 mph e-bike. So I'll see you guys next time for that video.